States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Let's see here, approval of agenda. We're gonna ask to add FDOT grant amendments.
Yes, sir. They came in a little bit late Monday night, and then as indicated by the note I sent y'all, we're asking to remove Dr. Flynn's lease discussion to our next meeting.
Will the referral continue until it's?
Yes.
Excuse me, may we do roll call?
Sure.
Okay, John Craig. Don Mount,
Here.
Roger Molitor,
Here.
Jessica Curry, Al Voss.
Here.
Mark Granger, Brad Whitmore,
Here.
Kevin Dougherty,
Present.
Adam Berg.
Here. Jessica's on the Zoom.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. And you wanted to say something about E also, right?
Yes, so the Space Coast Innovation Park LLC ground lease, we're gonna ask, because we want all board members to be present for that. We're gonna ask Mr. Chairman to set up a workshop and a special meeting within the next 2 weeks. We don't want to delay the developer another 4 weeks after that. So if we can get you guys approval on that, we'll come up with a date to get you all back in a couple weeks.
So given all that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Also move.
Second. In favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, opposed. All right, so here we go. Approval of the minutes for January 20th. 2022.
I move to approve this.
I've got one correction on the date on page 3. It says 2020.
We'll make that correction, Mr. Chairman.
Any other items? All right, we have a motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, then it takes the action item E. Item A, which is approval of the FDOT grant for the new air traffic control tower siting study and associated resolution at the Space Coast Regional Airport. Take it away.
Thank you, sir. So the new air traffic control tower for Space Coast Regional has been in the works for many years now. The tower is in very poor condition. I guess it came here 20 years ago as a temporary tower. So in order to construct a new tower, we're required to go through a siting study where we look at several different areas on the airport to ensure it's in the proper place. We also are required to go through a safety risk management panel with the FAA, identify any potential risks that we may have. And then at the end of the siting study, they will have a recommendation for the location and the height of the new tower. It's kind of a first phase thing. So we do the siting study, then we go into design and permitting from there, and then construction. The FDOT has graciously offered $128,000 in funding assistance with a $40,000 local match. This is going to be an AFCON project. We'll probably get started in about 2 weeks with the board's approval, and we're recommending approval.
All right, I have a motion.
I move to approve the study.
Al, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so item B, approval of the FDOT grant for the fuel farm replacement project and associated resolution at the Space Coast Regional Airport.
All right, thank you. The current fuel farm, which is on the east side of the airport, we have an avgas tank and a Jet A tank. Those things have far outlived their useful life. They don't meet any of the secondary containment requirements that we have today. They don't meet any of the new remote monitoring leak detection standards. So the scope of the project, this is a design-only project. So the scope will include the engineering and permitting associated with the removal and replacement of those two east side tanks. We are anticipating construction funding next state fiscal year. The state has offered $136,000 in funding assistance with a $34,000 local match. Again, this is going to be an AVCOM project and we'll probably get started here next couple weeks as well. We are recommending approval.
Question,
Yes, sir.
we, in the recommendations that we were looking at, operate fuel farm.
Oh, yeah,
This being anything added capability?
probably not here. Maybe we're talking about maybe another airport, but at this point, it is just we need to do something with these tanks now.
So basically just changing out.
Yes, sir. And there's a little bit of
And the additional.
yeah, there's a little bit of planning time because we want to ensure that tanks go in the right place. So we have a little planning time scheduled for that. But yeah, this is just to do that option.
Next to the rocket test.
It would be perfect. That was a joke for the record.
Yes, of course, of course.
Oh my God.
Okay, so any other questions, Kevin, on that? Anybody have a motion?
Move to accept the resolution for the field farm replacement.
Thank you, sir. A second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, approval of the FDOT grant amendment numbers indicated for the Valley-Air Command grant project and associated resolution at the Space Coast Regional Airport.
Right. Thank you, sir. If you recall, it was kind of when I first got here, this project went out to bid. It was designed and went out to bid right when I first got here. We had one respondent that was way over the engineer's estimate. If you recall, we kind of did another solicitation through kind of a different procurement channel on it. Then we received two bids. The low bid was still over the initial engineer's estimate. Which, we're seeing obviously around the country. So FDOT was gracious enough to provide additional funding. There's two grants for these. One is the VAC portion. That's the grant that we're looking at right now. They're going to increase their match by $1,935. Our local match is $1,935. This is a 50-50 grant. Increase the total project to $723,870. And we are recommending approval.
What was that number again, please, Kevin?
Total project for this portion of the grant is $723,870.
So our half is how much?
For the increase, $1,935. And they're, you kind of saw in the CIP report, they're getting ready to mobilize. So we have some of the money now, so we wanted to go ahead and get them started. But again, FDOT was gracious enough to give us some more funding for this.
So I guess we're kind of into this project already, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I move to approve the
Do I have a second?
I just want.
Was it your turn the second? Sorry,
No.
I want to take that away from you.
Okay.
With the union now.
All right, I'll call a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
When is the project really finished?
It is a 6 to 8 month construction period. We have to move the Gopher Tauruses. We have to get the final permitting, the right-of-way driveway permit through Brevard County, the city of Titusville. There's a small electrical permit that we have to get for the taxiway tie-in. But it's a 6 to 8 month project. And I think notice to proceed, we're thinking it's going to be February 28th. So they're getting ready to mobilize. Sir.
All right, that brings us to item D, approval of the FDOT grant amendment, second half for the Valley Air Command grant project, associated resolution.
All right, same deal. There's two grants associated with this. Is the Airport Authority part of it. FDOT is increasing this match by $704,800. Our local match is going to be $176,200, and that will basically bring us to the dollars that we need for construction, gopher tortoises, and permitting. So this basically evens everything up from where we came up with the number for our bid. So this kind of gets us to that point.
Any questions? All right. Motion.
I'll move to accept.
Thank you, Brad.
Second.
Thank you, Brad. All right. Vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, and we're skipping to item F, 6-month performance review, Director of Airports.
Everyone can
Kevin Dark.
Everyone out. So I sent around a kind of a 6-month progress report of the things that we did. And I've been working with John Craig on this. This is something he wanted me to do. I'm trying to communicate a lot more with the board now, sending you guys kind of updates every 2 weeks. But I put together a I love me memo. It was really interesting. You kind of forget the stuff that you do, because you put out the fires and you just kind of move on and move forward with stuff. But we've really kicked butt in the business development area. We've made some tough personnel changes in the last couple months that were not easy. We've really repaired a lot of relationships with FDOT, FAA. The county is really kind of turning the corner as well. Space Florida too is kind of largely, there wasn't a lot of relationship there. As we're meeting with all these people regularly. We're going out to EAA meetings every month and going to different gatherings. My wife and I won the chili cook-off last Saturday at Merritt Island, so, and there was no bribery, we just won. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really meeting a lot of great people, and we have the staffing in place. So I don't know. I welcome your guys' input. Some of the challenges that we're just going to have are these lease agreements. Not only are a lot of them under market, but I've talked to our attorney about it. There's no legal descriptions. There's no Exhibit A. So, and there's nothing we can do but to go back and correct that as they come up. But it's not only causing problems when their leases come up, but it's causing problems with future development too, where they're trying to tie in to a boundary exhibit or boundary line that doesn't exist. So, those are some of our challenges, which, we knew that from the beginning. So we're getting to it. I think, in my little report, I talked about some of my goals, which are the master plan. That's a big one, and moving forward with the Space Florida spaceport plan and the rocket testing facility. And another big one too is we really need to develop a marketing strategy for all the airports. It doesn't exist right now, and I worry that we are missing opportunities. So those are things that we just have to overcome and get done. Welcome any input y'all have.
Well, on your goals, I got some goals I want you to add.
Sure.
It was notable that in your goals, you didn't have a restaurant in there. It ought to be attached to the control tower. But we need to get the some type of financial coming to the board each meeting. I know we know that you're in the middle of the audit, close to the audit, I guess. So we need to be getting some type
More
of
data.
of where we are.
I agree.
And then, of course, we've got to get the accounting system selected and implemented. That's all I really had.
We had several presentations about from experts in the field of marketing and everything. Do we have a plan now that implements things that we learned from those?
From marketing.
From Mr. Byers and others that made presentations here.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we are moving forward with that. Some of the big things that Dr. Byers brought up were the personnel changes and the, the below market rents. The personnel changes have basically been implemented, and, we're moving forward with everything that he brought up and presented. Absolutely.
It'll take us a couple minutes, but I wonder if we should read for the audience his love letter that he sent for himself.
It's public. In public.
Yeah.
If they had the desire. Anything else? Brett?
I have a question. Along the lines, when Steve Rossi was here, we pitched, sent it to the doctor. He mentioned something about a customs office. And that rang home. I started thinking about it. I just ran into folks over at the Space Coast Jet Center. And this week they had to send an aircraft from Brazil to Melbourne. They wanted to come here.
Yeah.
That was in a 13,000 gallon full, which is a nice change. Customs office is something that people see. I think that it doesn't cost a lot.
We can, it's one thing that we did at my other place was we did a customs feasibility study, and we kind of dig into that and see what the viability of it is. We can do that.
They've done all done the chain, and with space perspective and a lot of other things going on, I envision more people coming to this area.
Okay.
Just something to put in that new basket.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm good. When we hired Story, we had some kind of a pay reduction as a start reduction. When do we address that?
That's what he asked for. I think it was considered to be a year. That's not.
6 months.
6 months.
Just
Yeah, just put a picture of my wife up. She's in the parking lot. No, it was 6 months. They were good. You all were going to see how you felt about things, have the direction we were going. So it is up. Yeah, we're doing well. I'm happy. Our staff is happy. I think we're doing good things, and this is just the first 6 months. I'm excited about the next few years. To be honest with you, I mean, everyone seems to like to come to work and do things. I think we've really turned that, because it wasn't such a pleasant environment when I first started coming around here. Just to be candid with you.
Well, I wasn't really prepared to.
No, so I wonder if we should set it on the agenda for the next meeting.
I think it's good.
Well, what about the special meeting coming up? Could we do it at that point?
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable.
We're looking for the whole board. The suspicion is that the next meeting is going to be spring break, and we're going to have attendance issues. So maybe if we could add them to that.
Certainly.
So any other discussions or comments for that item? We don't really need a motion for that. All right, well, that takes us to the director's report. Capital improvement. I guess you.
Right, I'll just kind of run through this, let me know if you have any questions. Our runway 927 rehab, the P&S paving, they're going gangbusters out there. Roger, you were out there today. They've replaced all the old pipe. They're getting ready to cover it all with lime rock. They're going to be doing one more secondary milling. They're going to start paving next week. So we're trying to get it done for the air show. So I think we're all very pleased by them. Our Hangar 52 demo project is largely finished. trying to get the contractor back to finish the punch list. Aaron and company are working on that. The VAC ramp and apron, we kind of talked about that. They're getting ready to mobilize, getting their permits, and Gopher tourists have to be located and removed, or relocated, I should say. February 28th, possible notice of proceedings start. And then the Willow Creek Connector Road project, that's kind of Aaron's puppy here. They're working on the limited access easement through the turnpike in the state, and I guess they're working on the geotech and survey. Corporate hangar, I believe John Neff submitted the plans today for the construction permit for the north side corporate hangar. So hopefully under construction here, I think in April. And then our EA for the T hangar development, that is moving forward. And then finally, the NASI project, we have a construction permit. I don't know. We have a construction permit from the county. So we're very excited about that. Yeah.
I feel later.
Yeah, y'all have no idea. So the contractor is getting ready to mobilize. We have our permit in hand. So we're also anticipating some additional funds from the state because, you know, the project cost has increased. So we'll be back with another grant from FDOT to take care of that. And that's it for the CIP. Any questions? Sir.
And it's a local one. When they're gonna cut across runway 1836, remember, Southern Fund is April 5th through the 10th. There's a lot of people coming in.
Right.
So we don't wanna bugger up the runway.
Well, these guys are on a mission to get done and get out of here. So,
Well, then maybe they can do a line that holds short on 26. I don't want people whispering in my ear. I'm getting nervous.
well, they said these contractors are pros and they really, they want to get out of here too, and get it done, and move on to the next project, so. For the record.
For the record, Justin Hoffman, Operations Facilities Manager for the airport authority. For the month of January, Arthur Dunn averaged 32 operations a day, Space Coast 120, and Mare Island 273. It's a little lower than usual. The weather's been kind of, so I think we're seeing less flying. The noise committee has met every 2 weeks. All the stakeholders have been there. We've been passing through a lot of ideas. We're pretty close to finalizing our standard operating procedure, which we distribute to the pilots and put signs up and that kind of stuff, just to keep everybody on board. Our hotline's been established. The numbers on our website. There's also the option on the website to submit an electronic complaint. For the month of January, I only had 2 noise complaints from their level. Official noise complaints. So far for February, 7. So it's been safe and quiet. Yes. Otherwise, that's about it right now.
I think it's been a great level of cooperation from all stakeholders at the airport. They're engaged and they want to be helpful. And we're trying different things and looking at airspace, and you know, it's nice.
There'll be a few tests coming up here soon. We're going to try some right-hand traffic pattern. Work with AD, trying to make sure we're doing everything right. So.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to approval of invoices for projects.
We have, Mr. Chairman, we have one final invoice for the 852 demo for Michael Baker.
Tyco board meeting in Google.
A city planner, someone from Peggy's office on it. And then I talked to John Denninghoff last week about having a county planner on it as well. So I think we've got a really broad stroke for a very big project, and we're gonna drop the RFQ out tomorrow. So we need to get this thing moving because we're basically working backwards from April 1st grant application deadline.
So are these people gonna review it before we send it out?
So all we're really doing is following FAA and FDOT guidance on master plan. We're going to have them on the selection committee to review the proposals and then make a recommendation for whatever engineering firm or planning firm gets it. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
I think there were some concerns that Steve.
I can add to that. Well, but I've been briefed on this a little bit. I'm coming into it somewhat cold, but down the name list that you recommended for review process, it's Steve Borowski and Lisa Walters, two other names, Adam Hyde and Dr. Byers, to make sure that they are also part of that group. And also maybe delay that release of the RFP to give this group of four time to fully digest it and see what it's all about. And that was recommended because of the amount of experience and doing this sort of thing, and the ability to get to the best solution, incorporating new legislation that is familiar to some and maybe not to others. We also want to make sure that that group of four names is part of the selection committee as well.
So I guess we can bring them in and kind of brief them on what we're doing.
I think Steve had a couple items he was especially concerned about, and he wanted to make sure that those items were in there before it went out. So kind of send it out before that is send it out before that's in there, and then they could, yes.
That was emphasized with me too, is that that group of four needed to fully evaluate what the RFP was going to be before it was released.
So I think the point that Kevin was making and the doctor is that there's an FAA guideline how that's goes. So it's already, they're not reinventing the wheel. You're just picking.
But if it makes everyone more comfortable, we can bring everyone in.
Good afternoon, Dick Byers, Quadrix Aviation. So the RFQ package, we're asking for the qualifications to do the work. And we have what we call a conceptual scope for both the airport master plans, which are the 3 airports, then another, it'll be part of the same contract, but actually a separate component of the project, the spaceport master plan. And the two are with the airport master plans, those are pretty much dictated by the FAA's advisory circulars and guidance. Spaceport master plan, we've got some guidance from Space Florida and what they want to see, so we tailor that conceptual scope, and that's all it is. As far as the rest of the package, it's just what are your qualifications, experience, if they have any insights, those types of things. There's no problem sharing that with the selection committee, whatever final format is. And we do have the opportunity. The reason for the timing is working backwards. We want to give the consultants as much time to prepare their submittals. But we also have room for them to ask questions. We also have room to add addendum. So if somebody sees something or maybe it's confusing or they want to add something, there's nothing to say we can't add that as an addendum. So time is of the essence, so that's why we wanted to get that out. Certainly, give them every opportunity to comment. If there's something they want to see, we'll have to evaluate it. If it's on the airport side, does it fit within the FAA's framework? Spaceport is probably a little complex.
Yeah, that would be.
And this is
Way too great.
it's not really a proposal, it's a request for qualification. So, but you can base your selection on who is the best consulting firm, team of firms who can best fit their experience and qualifications, not just as a firm, but the individuals that do the actual.
I think we're gonna get some really good proposals. This is the way we're kind of packaging this. I mean, this is gonna be a big project, so.
But if at all possible to get it to them.
Tomorrow, we'd like to, actually, we have a list of the firms that we know or feel are ones that would normally be interested in something like this, and maybe a few others, but it'll be advertised to people.
We can delay it 1 week and give the selection committee an opportunity to review it and get us comments by, next Thursday.
No, I think the addendum concept should be fine. I'm just, give Steve a call, just make sure that any points he wants, feels, because he's invested so much time and effort into this. I want to make sure that we respect and appreciate, his involvement. I don't slack it.
The addendum sounds like an option, sounds like a viable way to address this. However, give Steve a call and see if he's happy with it. Sounds like an even better way. So I'm on board with that.
And we did look at his presentation, both the documents that he presented. And I think there are a few things that we actually make sure that it's essentially a line item. And you'll see it too. Get that chance.
Chairman, I think you have a visitor who wants to make a comment back.
Yes, sir. Just if I can.
Record on Mitchell Cuba, and I work for a number of different businesses on the field and tenants and such. And I wasn't sure, if this was the best time to do this, but I wanted to get involved also. And I talked to some of you guys about actually being also on the selection committee. And if there's something for the spaceport master plan, just because, I see a lot of, I fly in and out of here, I fly in and out of, Heron Island also. And so I just felt like there was, more that I could do just to get involved. But I just want to put that to you guys and see if that's something that you would be open to, or whatever you would think about.
So you're throwing your name in the hat?
Yeah, believe it or not, if I can, that'd be good. Just
It might be better for you to be on the technical side of it, technical advisory group. We can't just keep adding people to the selection. I think we're up to 7 or 8 now, so your assistants would probably be better on the technical side of it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you guys would know better, probably where it could be used, but.
Because the selection committee is going to be this, and then it's done. The technical will be a lot more people, a lot more input.
Yeah, because I don't think we have some.
Right.
Whole
Be like
election.
Correct. Maybe this will be the selection committee.
10 different firms selected.
But yeah, appreciate your assistance.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Okay.
So does Kevin have your contact information?
We know where he works, at least one of his jobs.
Yeah, I have your number, yeah,
Yeah.
I can give you a card.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments? So there's nothing, this was just a discussion, so we don't need to do anything. I got my notes. Any other things that want to be requested of Kevin?
It's not on that topic, I really think that
On the next topic was ongoing, which is Dr. Flynn's agreement, which I believe we are going to table it for this meeting. I think we have.
I think you already did with the agenda.
Yes. And spaceport name change.
All right, this is kind of ongoing as well. Talking to Jessica, I think what we'd like to do is set up a workshop to kind of revisit this. There may be some issues with the Canaveral name. So we wanted to kind of revisit, maybe go back to the original 3 names. And I actually had to go back and look at the original 3 names. Spaceport Florida, Exploration Spaceport, and then Canaveral Space Center. So we just need to spend some more time on it, more dedicated time. Maybe if we're going to have that special meeting in a couple weeks, perhaps it would be appropriate if we could, have some dedicated time for that.
Will that allow for late entries for other name options?
I think so. Yeah, I think we need to go back to the drawing board. And really, we want John Craig here to have those conversations with the Canaveral folks, and then our attorneys looking at some of the possible issues with the Canaveral name.
You want to do this as a special meeting?
Or whenever. We can do it then, or we can just schedule a workshop, or we can dedicate some time to it. To be determined.
You'll
Yes, yes, sir. We'll get back with you.
Any other discussion on those items? All right. So then that takes us to Mr. Bird's report.
Have not heard anything back from the state of Florida Commission on Ethics, even though they held their, I presume they held their hearing for the end of January. So we'll have to have a motion to postpone that again to the next. That's how we've been doing it, to keep it on the attorney report there. Other than that, really not a lot to report. We've been busy writing agreements and drafts, and staff's been very busy and keeping me busy with prospective tenants. It's a good thing. So most construction matter there either. I think that's it for me.
Finance manager report.
Before you move on, you want to just move?
Oh,
on?
yes, I'm sorry.
No problem.
So I need a motion to postpone or to carry item A from Adam's report to the next regular. Okay, Al.
Man,
A second, Brad.
tough over there.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Steve,
Hi.
welcome.
Yeah.
Guys.
Okay, for the record, Christina Card, Finance Manager. Anyone have any questions on the check register?
We write a couple of checks to Brevard County. One of them was about 11,000. You know what that was for?
That would be for the benefits, more than likely. Mostly benefits.
And the Wildlife Foundation of Florida, 63,000. What was that?
It's for the VAC grant, the turtles,
Oh, that's true.
and that'll be reimbursable under the FDOT grant.
Questions for me?
40 member reports.
I'd just like to report that Commissioner Pritchard called and wanted to express her gratitude for the things we've been doing here at the airport, and just wanted us to know that we're being watched. And she's happy.
Nothing for me.
Roger stole my thunder. But she is very happy with what's happening.
We are too.
Just one other comment. You guys pitched into the air show in May.
Oh, yeah.
What's
We're
the-
we're having regular meetings with the promoter, working with our attorney on drafting their agreement, and
When's the date on that?
May 21st.
Is there anything that the board needs to do in support of them?
Not right yet. We're about to really kind of get into it now. We're through the holidays, so we'll probably start doing a regular report to you next meeting as to where we're at, what's happening, and logistics of it.
Takes us to public comments. We have to do cards.
Yes, we have cards. Historically, we don't. But we just ask.
Okay. Anyone in the audience like to speak? Put your hand up. Yes, Tom.
Don White with the EA 7.4 down Rhode Island. Just want to let you know that we're going to have our, we had to defer our Young Eagles Day from January 29th due to wind conditions. And so we're going to have it next Saturday, the 26th of February. So we're going to be having it on the north side of the airport. So hopefully we'll have good weather that day. I just want to let you know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next time. That it? Oh, yeah.
Kevin Panic, Titusville, Florida. A few years back before COVID, I went over to the BAC building and went upstairs with and met with some of the folks that do that air show. And I had some charts I made and pitched to them. Maybe like some modernization to it, you know, like he's got drone flying now. These kids are flying these drones, and you got high powered model rocketry. You know, we're going to be a rocket thing. I mean, there's clubs all around. And at the time it went over basically like a lead balloon. Okay. And I'm just wondering if now that we have some new leadership and everything, I don't know if you wanted to probe some local things with rocket clubs and drone dudes and all that kind of stuff. Because I think it would kind of jazz it up. I mean, I've seen 20 years of them bombing them barrels, you know, and they're beautiful planes. Everything is wonderful and the attendance is right there.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe we can start
It's some
putting it on.
young blood.
Yeah, amen. So that's just a comment. Thank you.
Anything else? Nothing else? Then adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Randy, you want to stand in front of a spinning propeller? Check the generator.
No, no, Don. Don.
You like that?